So you ended up flipping couches.
Yeah, so I ended up playing one more season for a I call it semi-pro, it's still pro, but we call it independent baseball team. And during that time I had a lot of fun playing again, and I ended up playing actually 5 more seasons in independent baseball while I was doing real estate. But we get married after the season in October. We're actually about to celebrate 10 years of marriage here in a couple of months, so super excited about that. And I'm sitting there looking at our apartment, and she had, we had furnished it for like $1,000 from all of our wedding gifts and everything else, and I was like, man, I got some good deals on that. Like I was kind of like patting myself on the back, and then I was thinking about it. I was like, man, I bet you I could sell this stuff for like $3,000. And then all of a sudden, I just it clicked. I was like, why don't I just get like one deal a day? Like, what if I just bought another couch or something? Like, there was a bunch of other ones, I just didn't want them.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why don't I try this? Because at the time, the only way I was making money, since baseball really didn't pay anything, was I was substitute teaching for $90 a day.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you have a teaching license for the?
Well, dude, I had an economics degree that I never used. That's a whole nother path. But like when I got released by the Oakland A's, I was like, well, I'll just apply for a job. And I have an economics degree. I'm a former professional baseball player, a hard worker. I applied at like 10 different places, got no interviews. I was like, all right, getting a job's kind of hard. I'm gonna have to like figure this out on my own. So then one of my friends was telling me about substitute teaching. He's like, dude, it's super chill. You go for like 6 hours a day. You make $100. You can still practice and work out and do the things you got to do. I was like, all right, that sounds cool. Like, whatever. If it's $500 a week, I can live off that. So that's what I was doing.
Wow.
Yeah.
Would you ever get back into teaching?
I mean, that's what I do on social media.
It is what you do.
Yeah.
Maybe that's there's a foreshadowing there in your story.
There was. Yeah. My wife was actually a public school teacher too.
I did not know
That's
that.
what she went to school for. So she did that for like 3 years, and she did the underprivileged kid in like a really rough area for 3 years.
Yeah. So the same current wife was the one you were engaged to back then. Yeah. So she's been with you the whole time.
She's been with me through the entire
ride
My ride or die. I tell those people all the time, I'm like, we never had money, growing up, and nor did I have any plan to make money. It was just like we were kind of actually content with her teaching and making $40,000 a year, and then me just flipping couches. Like once I figured out flipping couches, we were making 6 figures and we were rich. I was like, dude, I'm rich, and we were totally good.
Yeah. Let me jump to the end of your story real quick.
Okay.
You were actually rich today. We'll just give you actually have money. So are you happier now than you were then, or is it a different happy?
I think it's a different happy. I think we talked about it on my podcast. Like Paul talks about being content under every circumstance, and I totally believe that. I mean, even when I was playing baseball, making $7,000 a year, I was so happy playing the game. When I was flipping couches and listening to Bigger Pockets, trying to figure out how to flip houses, like I was super happy doing it. And then the first flip, I was super happy. First time we got an office, I was stoked. To see where we're at today and doing WealthCon tomorrow, like I'm super stoked. So yeah, I don't think my joy has ever changed, right? And I think that comes from faith in Jesus. But obviously, I'd rather be rich than not rich. So like for sure, it's better to have wealth than everything else.
Do you think wealth? Let's talk about wealth for a little bit, and we'll go back to your story. Does wealth? The Bible warns a lot about wealth, right? So what's your current view on wealth? And obviously that's a huge piece of your brand today, is the wealthy way.
Yeah.
So how do you reconcile wealth with biblical teachings on wealth?
Yeah, the Bible talks about money more than any other subject. And it's kind of crazy. Like more than salvation, more than marriage, more than helping the poor. It literally talks about money more than all of them. And I think God knew that money would have the biggest stronghold on us over everything else. It would influence our decisions far more than we could ever imagine.
Yeah.
And, when I look at wealth, most people think it's about money. And I think it is to a degree when you're first starting out. Like you're just trying to survive. You're trying to make a buck. You're trying to, eventually provide for your family. And so it's about money. But then there becomes a certain point where, you make money, you provide, but then you're still unfulfilled. Yeah. And you're like, man, okay, I thought maybe I'll make more money. That'll do it.